Just in time for Christmas. All seems right with the world, right? LSU's only one more game before they dive headfirst into the Lane Kiffin era. Tulane's in a no-lose situation as they head to Oxford for the first round of the college football playoffs. And your New Orleans Saints are big favorites to win their third game in a row for the first time in 3 years. And, the Pelicans came back from 22 down to win their third in a row. So the Scrooge in me asked, what the hell could possibly go wrong? No, this isn't going to be return of the Derry Downer, but there's no way it can all be sunshine and roses when everything stunk to high hell just a month or so ago, right? Let's bring in Zach Ewing to tell me if I'm just being a little melancholy or maybe the eggnog was past its expiry date. But neither melancholy nor uncontrollable joy can knock the Dattitude podcast from its track toward the North Pole. No. We have way too many gifts to bring you today. Zach, the Pick'em crew, and yes, Derry Doubter, and it's all coming up next.
If you're looking for the latest scoop and in-depth interviews on the Saints, the NFL, the Pelicans, LSU, along with the best bets of the week, then lucky you. Along with high-powered, in-the-know guests who cover our teams, Jim Derry brings plenty of Dattitude. And he'll always tell you the way it is, or at least the way he thinks it is.
Where you at, Dattitude family? You ready for your Christmas present? Can you guess what I got you this year? I thought about it for a long time, but all I could come up with was Dattitude, episode number 453, presented by Evangeline Securities for a Friday, December the 19th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Derry. I hope most of you know that by now. It's, I'm the one with the Christmas lights attached to my head. It's like coming out of my head. They're pretty, though. So are festive. We're getting festive here. It's Festivus for the rest of us. You know what that means. You know what's special about our show and what's special about you can type in your grievances. All you got to, it's right there for you. Whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, doesn't matter where you are. Type in your grievances. Go ahead. I know everything is sunshine and roses, but that's what Festivus is for. You can do it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or almost every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, live at 11 a.m. Central Time. We will not be on Wednesday. I'll get to that in a minute. But that is what is special about our show. We're live. You talk to us. We don't record shows and put them on and then go to sleep and say, see you Wednesday. No, we don't do that here. We talk to you live, and you get to talk back to us. And if you want to get in touch with me on X, you can at Jim Derry Jr. You can email me, as so many people do. I'm fantastically, wonderfully happy about that. Jim@jimderry.com. And if you haven't done so already, who is this guy, Derry Downer? He sounds like he's going to come up with some stupid crap today. But let's subscribe to the Dattitude YouTube page because it's fun. You know what to do. Hit like and all that good stuff. All right. What is on today's show? You know what is on today's show. We're going to talk about all sorts of stuff. We're going to focus mainly on Saints and Tulane. Saints trying to win their third in a row. For the third in a row. It would be the first time in 3 years, and just shy of 3 years, that the Saints won three in a row. That's pretty sad, actually. Talked about that on Eric Asher's TV show, Inside New Orleans. If you can't find it, or if you didn't see it, you can find it. It's on YouTube, WLAE TV, channel 32 here in New Orleans. It was on last night at 6 o'clock and is on YouTube. First chance at it in 3 years. You know what worries me? And this is not just the Derry Down. This is just rational common sense. Everybody, and I mean everybody, on planet Earth, even Jets fans, are picking the Saints to win. Now, maybe they're not necessarily picking the Saints to cover. That spread, by the way, is up to 6. We're going to get to that in a little bit. It was 4.5 most of the week. Then I looked this morning. The Saints are now 6-point favorites. I don't think the Saints have been 6-point favorites since Drew Brees was here. I don't think it hasn't been that long, but it's been a while. Gabe, can you look that up? I see the last time the Saints were 6-point favorites, whether at home or on the road. I don't even care. Been a while. I had looked it up before and I forgot. I should have typed it in, but yeah. So the Saints have a chance to win 3 in a row. Tulane is going to try to shock the world by going to Oxford and playing the college football playoff on Saturday. Playoffs? That's right, playoffs. That line has not really moved much all week long. Tulane is a 17.5-point favorite. Although I did look, and the betting public is all over Ole Miss, and they can't wait to give up the 17.5 points. They think it's going to be a bloodbath. What do you think? I think that we're going to be talking about that with our Pick'em crew later this morning. Pick'em crew is going to be, as we do each Friday. We've only got a few of these left. Well, I'll say that, though. We're going to do Pick'em through the Super Bowl. Now, when we get later in the playoffs, it's going to be weird. I may have to open up to props or something. I don't know. There's only so many things you can bet, right, when you get later on in the playoffs. So we'll see. But that's coming up. That's the last thing on the show this afternoon. That'll be about 12:15, 12:20-ish. Zach Ewing is coming on at 11:30. He's going to help me preview Saints and Tulane. And we probably will talk LSU for like 2 minutes, if that. I've got a question to ask him. And at some point this morning, probably before Zach comes on, we're actually going to talk about Pelicans. I don't know. Maybe not for long. We'll see. But they did win that 3rd game in a row last night, and I got to say, I had the Pels game on the second half on my phone while I had the football game on the TV. We are definitely going to talk about the football game in just a moment. But the Pelicans, they didn't just win a basketball game. They didn't just win their 3rd in a row. They were down by 22 at the half to the Houston Rockets, who are a pretty good basketball team. And I'm not going to say this. I was super impressed by what I saw. It had nothing to do. And look, Zion wasn't a part of it, really. I thought Murphy and Jones both looked good. The rookie Queen has been outstanding. And they did it in different ways. Queen was kind of the man in the middle. He was the man that was kind of the conduit to it all. This rookie, now, don't get me wrong. I haven't changed my opinion on. I think I'm glad they got him. Think they probably could have got him later. Who knows? But to give up, it's a terrible trade still. What the Pels did to get there and get up and grab Queen, no matter how good he is, to trade an unprotected pick that if the Pels don't make the play-in, it's probably going to be a top 5 pick still. We'll see. We'll talk about that very briefly. But before we get to the comments and any more of this, did you see the football game last night? We briefly pause, and I mean briefly. We briefly pause our ripping of Sam Darnold to bring you our thoughts on the insane Seahawks-Rams game last night. We told you Wednesday, Gabe and I did, that I think we both thought that this would be not only the best Thursday night game of the year, or one of the best, we thought it would be one of the best NFL games of the season. We didn't know it would be the best. I mean, I think it's and I know recency bias crawls in, but the best NFL game of the season. I think it was. It was incredible. Had me glued to the TV. Even when it was, I got to say, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I thought that the Seahawks were going to come back and win when it's 30-14. But I wasn't ready to turn it off either because you just had a feeling something weird was going to happen. Again, didn't think the Seahawks were going to come back and win. But I did think it would. I thought it was still a game. Thank you. By the way, I got to say thanks to the odds makers. For some reason they just started doing this. They just started changing how they do close games this year. They used to be okay with pick'ems, or you would see someone -1. They don't do that anymore. They make anything that's even a pick'em or close to a pick'em. They make someone -1.5 and someone else is +1.5, obviously. And we told you on Wednesday's show that the Rams were -1.5. Well, last night going into the game, it had changed. It had turned around. People, I guess, were betting on the Seabags. And the Seahawks were now -1.5 and the Rams +1.5. But where they try to get you is they make the Rams, and this is how I got it. The Rams were +1.5 at -112. So that means you got to lay $112 to win 110. Now that's not my unit is much smaller than that, but I'm just trying to let you know what it is. You got to bet 11.20 to win 10. Or you can bet the money line, and this is how they win. I know. Look, I get it. This is how they win. You could get the Rams at even money, plus 100. Okay, so I'm like, you know what? I'll pay the little extra cabbage that it costs to give me the 1.5 just in case something weird happens. Well, what do you know? Something weird happens, and I thank them for doing that. I don't know why they decided they can't do +1 or pick them now. They don't do that anymore. I haven't seen a straight up pick them in a long time. So anyway, thank you to the odds makers for giving me that choice. And I'll take the 1.5 and bingo, bango, bingo. Once the Rams scored the touchdown to start overtime and kick the extra point, it's almost a guaranteed winner. And the books haven't caught up on this. The analytics of the books haven't caught up on this because they were offering a payout that wasn't even close to what the value would be. I mean, that's always the case, but like really not even close. It was still way off. And there was no way Seattle wasn't going for 2 if they scored it. They were either going to not score a touchdown, go for 2 and not get it, or score a touchdown, go for 2 and get it. There were no other possibilities. There were no way they were not going to go for 2. They weren't going to kick an extra point, tie the score with 3 minutes left, and give the Rams a chance to run out the clock. And so the best that you can hope for is a tie. No one's going to do that. That's why teams have figured out that with the way that overtime is now, the best thing to do is to go last because you control your own fate. The only way you don't control your own fate is if the team who gets it first, and I think this is going to start happening at some point. I was screaming at the TV, Rams should go for 2. I know they're not going to. But if you score first, I would actually go for 2. And you know how conservative I am. I would go for 2 if I went down the field and scored a touchdown first, because if the other team scores a touchdown, they're absolutely going to go for 2. So you go for 2. If you don't get it, they're going to kick the extra point. I don't know. I want to know what maybe Zach has some. Zach's the analytics king. But Seattle in a game that's high scoring like that, both defenses are tired. I mean, you pretty much know that Seattle's going to probably go down and score a touchdown. Even Sam Darnold. And look, how about that 2-point conversion? The quote unquote, I don't think it was controversial. People were calling it controversial. There's nothing controversial about it. It was a lateral. By the way, there's no such thing as a backwards pass. It's called a lateral. It was a lateral on the 2-point conversion. If you didn't see it, go find it. It went backwards, bounced into the end zone. Zach Charbonnet picked it up. Why anyone else wasn't trying to pick it up, I don't know. The Rams up 15 or more in the fourth quarter in their history before last night. How just improbable is this? If you didn't see this, the Rams were 323-1. They had only lost one game. I think it's to the Niners in like 1987 or 1989 or something like that. 323-1 in their history. Went up by 15 or more points in the fourth quarter. The Seahawks, when they were trailing by 15 or more in the fourth quarter, were 0-172. They were down 30-14 in the fourth quarter. The Rams were, according to the analytics, you know what I think about analytics. The Rams were 97.3% chance to win. The NFC West is fun, y'all. It really is. It is super fun. Gabe Henderson says the last time the Saints were -5. So, I mean, they're now -6. We're week 5 of 2022 versus Seattle. Goes to show you how long ago that was. So that's almost 4 years ago. Well, I guess 2022 season, 3 years ago. Now, again, they have a chance to win 3 in a row for the first time since that same season. All right. Remaining sked for the NFC West. Who's in charge now? Interestingly enough, why were the Niners rooting so hard for the Seahawks? And I saw a bunch of posts saying, I hate doing this. It makes me want to gag. But the Niners now control their own destiny in the NFC West. That's right. Even though the Seahawks won and they have a 1-game lead, the Niners control their own destiny in the NFC West. If the Niners went out, they play at the Colts this week. Then they play at home, and they play the last 2 games at home against the Bears. And then the last week of the season, I guess this is going to be the Sunday Night Football game. They play the Seahawks. They will win the NFC West. The Seahawks also control their own destiny. They play at the Panthers next week, and then, as we said, at the Niners. So they're done at home, and then the Rams need some help, but they have an easy schedule. They should certainly win their last 2 games. They play at the Falcons and then at home against the Cardinals. So we'll see how that works out. Gabe also says the Saints were minus 7.5 in week 9. Were they really? I'll look that up. I didn't think I saw that. Anyway, okay. I have to take his word for it. He says the Saints was minus 7.5 at Carolina last year in week 9. Versus Carolina. No, that would have been at Carolina. Yeah, at Carolina. Because they played Carolina home in week 2. All right. Anyway, so the NFC West race is fascinating. We are going to be watching it going forward. The Rams now need help. But look, you know what they really need is the best chance for the Rams to win the division now. And it's hard to believe that, everyone said just a few weeks ago, remember, the Rams were the surefire number 1 seed. No one's going to beat them. They're the Super Bowl favorites. And now they might end up being like the 5th or the 6th seed. I mean, it's possible. Probably going to be at least the 5 seed, I would guess. But, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Now if you want to win the division, you want to get the 1 seed, because the winner of the NFC West is almost not 100%, but almost certainly going to get the number 1 seed. The Rams, now their best path to win the division is to have the Niners lose to either the Colts or the Bears. They're not going to lose to the Colts. I don't think they're going to lose to the Bears at home, but I guess anything's possible. And then they would need the Niners to beat the Seahawks in the final week of the season. And then the Rams obviously went out and whatever, because the Seahawks aren't going to lose to the Panthers. They're going to have to lose to the Niners. We'll see. Anyway, interesting stuff going over the course. And it looks like that final game of the year very well could be Seahawks at Niners on Sunday Night Football. And I could tell you thought last night's game was really good. That one could be even better. So I'm looking forward to that coming up. I got to get to the comments. Again, Zach coming on at 11:30, and I do want to talk a little bit about the Pelicans before we get started here. Programming notes for you. In case you didn't hear me say this the other day, going forward the rest of the year, our schedule is like this. We will be here from Monday for Mano e Monday, reviewing not only the Saints game, and my dime will probably be on the Saints. We'll see. We'll also be talking about Tulane, of course, and their college football playoff. If they somehow were to win, how is that not the lead of Dattitude on Monday? It's got to be, right? No matter what the Saints do. Tulane beats Ole Miss. And don't laugh. There's no such thing. I mean, that's not a 0.0. It ain't good. The odds aren't good, but stranger things have happened. I would love it. It would be I don't think I've ever rooted for Tulane as much as I'm going to root for Tulane on Saturday. All you older folk who grew up being LSU fans, and I know that I get LSU fans and Tulane fans watching the show, but Tulane would never root for LSU, and LSU would never root for Tulane. Those days have kind of eased up a little bit. Maybe not as much for the Tulane people who I think still root against LSU all the time, but I know a lot of LSU people who root for Tulane, including myself. And it's not just because I root for Tulane on a regular basis, because it makes the show more fun and something more to talk about. But could you imagine if Tulane beat Ole Miss? How much fun that would be? That would be I wouldn't be able to wait to get on here Monday. All right, what we got in the comment stream this morning? I'm going to go through as many as I can get to before we tell you about our friends at Evangeline and, of course, Joe DeStefano Insurance. Cedric Bolo, good morning. Saints are winning. Pels are winning. Who dat? And do I think the team is better with or without Zion? Well, look, I can't honestly say that I think that the Pelicans are better without Zion. However, you certainly can make that argument, right? Charles Mangus, good morning. Happy Friday. Pels come back from 20. I thought it was 22 down. They could have been down at 25 at one point. I know it was 22 at halftime. It was a great game. Sadiq Bey, he had a great game, for sure. Christopher Crump, happy Friday. Looking to get 3 in a row. That would really make our weekend. It would. Could you imagine if the Saints won and Tulane won? What a weekend that would be. Brian Esteve, happy Friday, Dattitude family. That may have been the most entertaining Thursday night football game since Myles Garrett tried to kill Mason Rudolph with a helmet. Remember that? That was interesting, for sure. Adam Varner. Good morning, Dattitude Nation. Proud of all your growth since going solo. Thank you so much, Adam. He thinks the Saints have a good chance of winning out, starting to worry about Devin Neal's injuries. I mean, you can't worry about Devin Neal. He's a rookie. I mean, it's fine. He'll be fine. You can't worry about things like that right now. Kyle Sherman, good morning. What is it? RMFW. As Summerall says, they've made T-shirts now. Yes, roll wave. That's the best I can do. I've only said that word once on the show, and it's because some jackass made me do it. Could be in the best of. We'll see. We got our best of. We're going to do our awards coming up. Charles also says it was best Thursday night football game. It was really, really good. Darryl Romero, always the best show. Have a great Christmas, everyone. Be safe. We got a little wait. We got another show before Christmas. Yeah, it's Festivus. I maybe I'll put an aluminum pole on Monday's show. Gabe, can we try to work on that? Maybe we'll have a pole going up this I don't know. Going right over my face. San Luis Obispo Houdat says, good morning. Looking forward to a winning streak at the end of the season. A great draft next year. Getting fired up, baby. Oh, boy. Apathy's never happy. He's worse than me sometimes. Hold on. I got to get me a sip. Apathy says, Mickey Loomis about to get the Festivus poll and scream he has a lot of problems with you people while screaming at the fans. Why are you giving Mickey grief today? I haven't heard Mickey grief a lot lately. It's funny. It's funny what happens when your team wins. You even forget how much you hate Mickey Loomis. Don't you? S. Callie, good morning. UBN's here. He'll be on the show later. Can't wait. Good morning, Dad family. After his night last night, he has 0 grievances. Niners went out and he gets the #1 seed. Thanks, Seahawks. That's true. It is 70 degrees in Denver. JC, good morning. Really? It is actually chilly here this morning. It is, what is it? 57 now. Okay. JC says he's in the minority. Let's go Broncos and go Tulane as well. Okay. Well, I mean, let's see what we got here. Larry Gibson, that 2-point conversion was called correctly. Absolutely. That's why it's not a controversy. I mean, I don't think I can't say anyone. I haven't, I didn't dive into social media like I do sometimes, but I mean, I can't imagine it'd be controversy. It was clearly the right call. The Rams had the nerve to object to a game. Did they really? I didn't see it afterwards. If they did, I missed it. Daryl Hayden says, good morning. Who that said they're going to beat them Pels? I know, Pels. What's going on, man? Aptheos says the 49ers are the reason why injuries are never an excuse. They've been the most injured team over a 2-year span. I can't disagree with you there. Earl's picks the type of crucial game you go for 2. Of course. You had to go for 2. There's no way that's why I said once the Rams scored and I have Rams plus 1.5, I was 100%, not 99.9%, not 99, not 98. There's no way I was going to cash that ticket out. Once the Rams scored a touchdown and kicked the extra point, there was a 100% chance I was winning. The Seahawks, they were either going to not score. They were either going to score a touchdown, go for 2, and not get the 2-point conversion, or they were going to score a touchdown, go for 2, and get the 2-point conversion. Those are the only 3 options. Any of those 3 options, I win. It was easy money at that point. Not beforehand. It wasn't easy money, but it was easy money at that point. My friend Jimmy Wollaston, good morning. Have a great weekend. Roll away, but more than ever, who dat, baby? Absolutely. All right. We'll get some more comments later. Zach's in the green room. I do want to talk Pels for just a moment. In fact, you know what? Just for just a minute. We're going to put just because I made it, and we're going to start with it. Pels come back from 22 down. Could come back from any deficit. Not that they're ever really in a deficit. But our friends at Evangeline Securities, they could, whatever you want them to do. course, they're a company that can help you decide if it's the right time to sell your family-run or privately held business. And just as importantly, they can figure out what that business is worth. If that's you, someone you know. Time to reach out to Evangeline's founding partner, Nick Braden. He will start by scheduling a complimentary valuation from their offices, either on Poydras Street or in Lafayette. And from there, you'll be well informed to begin to make the decision on if you decide to proceed. What happens after that? Well, yeah, the rest of your life. But the rest of your life, we can hold off in the rest of your life. We'll tell you later in the show. In the meantime, you can check them out at www.evangelinesecurities.com. Before we get to Zach, how about Joe? If you own a small business of fewer than 20 employees, you know how tough it is to get the best rates on health insurance. That's why you want to call Joe DiStefano Insurance. Joe and I have known each other for almost 40 years. I can tell you that he's someone that I trust. Look, health insurance shouldn't be one size fits all. And with Joe DiStefano, you get access to PPO networks and flexible plans designed to fit you, not just a cookie cutter mold. Joe's licensed, he's local, but he can help you no matter where you live and operate. From preventative care to peace of mind, we'll tailor a plan that works for your life today and tomorrow. Call Joe DiStefano at 504-234-2132 to protect what matters most. All right, we thank Evangeline. We thank Joe DiStefano for sponsoring the Dattitude podcast. And if you want to help out with our journey on being independent, you can donate to the Dattitude podcast by hitting the chat. All right, I want to talk about real quickly for just a couple minutes. 133-128 in overtime. The Pelicans win 3 in a row. Don't call it a comeback, baby. They only, I think, 5 games out of the play-in game. I know it's early, but 6-22. That's why there's just way too many playoff spots. I mean, it's absurd. 6-22. But I got to say, the Pelicans look like a different, they really do. They look like a different team right now. And, you know, someone asked earlier, are they better off without Zion? I don't think you could say they're better off, but the way that Borrego has played Zion with his comeback, and, you know, last night they didn't need him. I thought it's got to be the best game they played all year, considering who they were playing, how far down they were. And again, I didn't see the first half, so I don't know how bad they were, but I turned it on to start the second half. Had the Pels game on the phone, the football game on the TV, and I was truly impressed. I mean, and Tom, I know you're joking, woohoo. I'm telling you, they're playing like a different team. And it's not just because they've won 3 in a row, but they look like a different team. They look like they care. So we'll see. Mark, don't get fired up about the Pelicans now. Mark Satanovich, all you've been talking about is the Pelicans moving and blah, 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 blah. Don't get all fired up now, pal. We got receipts, Mark Satanovich. Just saying. We got receipts. All right, you know, I'm going to bring on, and I didn't even tell him I was going to talk, just for like 2 minutes. Zach Ewing, you got to have some kind of opinion on the fighting New Orleans Pelicans. And, I mean, yeah, 6-22 sucks, but maybe they started to figure something out. And I really liked their rotations last night.
The only thing I have to say about 6-22 is that it's a heck of a lot better than 3-22.
Or 3-25 had they lost those 3 games.
Especially when you don't have your first round pick, right? Like there's really no reason you shouldn't want to win every game you can. I just think the talent level on that roster is just better than the way they've been playing for 3 months, like that, or 2 months. That's the part I can't quite figure out is like, you know, we can argue about rotations and how they use Zion and if he's, you know, really going to be the answer long-term or whatever. I mean, the point is the players that they have on that roster and you add in the contributions from the rookies, they never should have been that bad in the first place. So maybe we're just starting to see a little bit of regression. To be honest with you, I haven't watched that much Pelicans basketball this year. I've been too busy with football, but
I haven't watched a ton, but I've watched some. So.
It looks like they're finally kind of rounding into what you thought they would be. Unfortunately, like 22 games under 500 is way too big of a hole for them to crawl out of.
It is, but you know, they're only I think 5 games out of the play-in right now, and that's, look, you got a long way to go with this season. It's hard to believe, but they still have a chance to do that. I know who's rooting for them not to get to the play-in game, and that would be the Atlanta Hawks. who have their unprotected pick, which is still, as well as Queen has played, that's still, it just goes to show how absurd that trade really was. But whatever.
Well, I think if they had offered the Hawks less, they probably still could have gotten that pick.
Exactly.
That's really what it's down to. You know, like Derek Queen looks like a great player. He was a great pick. Going to get him at that spot was not a bad move. You did not have to give up next year's first rounder.
Exactly. There's no doubt about it. All right. We're going to start off here with, let's see. Do we want to start off with, let's start off with college football. And obviously Tulane, I'll make sure I click on the right one and not give away our picks here. Tulane into the college football playoffs at Oxford, Mississippi tomorrow against the Ole Miss Rebels. 17.5-point underdogs. This line has not changed much throughout the week. No one giving the Wave a chance. And without giving your pick away, should people be giving the Wave a chance?
There's always a chance. There's always a chance, Jim.
So
it's
you're
Christmas
saying
time.
There's a chance.
Yeah, what is Christmas time without a little hope? Look, I think Ole Miss is clearly the more talented team. They proved that in September. Now, Tulane played probably one of its worst games of the year that day. Like, I think you can expect them to play better. A lot of people are playing the Lane Kiffin angle and saying, well, Ole Miss may be disorganized and they may, be distracted and things. I mean, John Summerall's probably got more going on than any of the Ole Miss coaches. He's trying to do two jobs at once. Like, I just don't think that argument holds a lot of water for me. Tulane has a chance just because they're a good enough team. They know how to win. They've played some games like that North Texas game where they just made things happen. They're going to need things to happen. They're going to need to have one of those games where they force 2 or 3 turnovers, maybe more, where they get some fourth down stops, where they maybe catch a deflected pass. Just one of those things that gets them in the game. And then that big boisterous crowd will get a little nervous and you start to feel the tension. And then maybe Tulane has a chance in the second half.
Yeah, look, I think there's all sorts of things here going on, and we just don't know what the impact is going to be of Lane Kiffin being gone. We don't know. Look, we know that John Summerall, he stayed, and it seems like the Wave's focused. Is that enough? The problem that Tulane has is, they already played him and got blown out, but how many, if they played him 10 times, would Tulane win once? Maybe, but just the SEC talent that's on that side and Ole Miss, and they may actually be more fired up that Lane Kiffin's gone, the players themselves, and have something to prove. So I just think it's an interesting matchup, and it's maybe it's a little tough to predict.
Yeah, the 1 in 10 question is an interesting one. Like, what's the money line? I don't think it's 10-1, is it?
I don't know, but I'm going to look it up while you're talking.
That number seems about right to me. I might want a little bit higher than that. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like
Tulane is plus 650. Ole Miss is minus 1,000.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch the plus 650. I don't think that's quite right. But if you gave me 10-1, I would consider it. I mean, I think 1 out of 10 times Tulane may they certainly would find a way to be in the game 2 or 3, 4 times out of 10. Could they win one of those in the end on the road? I don't know. Like, we'll see. This team has exceeded some of my expectations over the past few weeks. And so I'm not going to put it past them. I hope they win. I hope they go up there and win, because how awesome would a Sugar Bowl be with Tulane in it?
Oh, Tulane and Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Then the line would probably be like 24, and everybody would be taking Georgia then, I think. What are the keys to the game here, Zach? What does Tulane need to do to at least give themselves a chance to still be in it in the fourth quarter?
Like I said, it's turnovers. It's ball control on offense. Like, Tulane's not the kind of team who's just going to go throw the ball up and down the field on you. Jake Retzloff's had a good year, but most of his big passing plays have come like off of play action, that sort of thing. So control the clock, keep the ball away from the Ole Miss offense, force a couple of turnovers. I'll be really curious to see, Lane Kiffin kind of had this reputation for being aggressive with his play calling, and he would go for it on fourth down and things. Will Pete Golding be like that? Like, that's one thing I'm really curious about, because like, that's where you could start to see a difference. And maybe Pete Golding thinks, I'm going to play this conservative and our talent will just win out in the end. But if he doesn't, and you could get a big play on one of those key fourth downs early, kind of flip momentum, That's what Tulane has to do. They have to get off to a good start. They have to force some turnovers, and they have to control the clock.
Shocking. Zach Ewing found a way to get analytics into the Dattitude podcast this morning. Just absolutely shocking.
Did you notice my Diego Pavia support hat here? You guys are railing on Diego Pavia, man.
We are. And how is that Diego Pavia?
Well, from the analytics say he was very clearly the most valuable player in the country. So I would have voted for it. I don't have a vote, but I would have voted for it. No, I'm not joking. You can look it up. Now, what he did at analytics that say he was clearly the best player in the country.
There we go with the analytics crap. I mean, come on.
Now what he did after the Heisman ceremony, there's no excusing that, but I think he should have won.
Yeah, I think no.
I know you don't think so because it doesn't agree with your prior opinion, and so you are far too stubborn.
No, it doesn't agree with my prior opinion. I didn't even have an opinion. Honestly, I didn't care that Mendoza won. I mean, I think what he did was
no. I heard you and Gabe talking about Kia of Albuquerque and those sorts of things. You had
I wasn't messing with Albuquerque.
I mean that was more Gabe, but you definitely you had.
Is Diego Pavia from Albuquerque?
He is from Albuquerque.
Oh, then you're biased. That doesn't count.
Well, I mean, I don't know him. I haven't lived in Albuquerque in 20 years.
I knew I should have made that left turn in Albuquerque. Anyway, I did agree with all the analytics weirdness that happened last night in the Seattle Rams game. I thought that was a lot of fun. And look, like I said, and I think you were in the green room when I said this, and I had the Rams plus 1.5. And once the Rams scored a touchdown, I went, cha-ching! There's no way I can lose. There's no way Seattle can't. Yeah. They got to go for 2 if they score because they don't control their own destiny if they don't.
You know what would have been fascinating to me is if they had gotten a holding call or something on that 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
Do you still go for it then? Because, I think that's the one case where you still do because a tie does the Seahawks. Had it been opposite, I actually would have. I'd been the Rams. You kick because in a tie,
or if it's in week 3 or week 4, maybe you feel differently.
Right. But I mean, I do think you see it in college football in the double overtime. The team that has to, in the first overtime, sometimes the team going second will go for 2 because they know they have to go first in the second overtime and they have the disadvantage there. And so it does make a lot of sense. But yeah, there was no doubt. If it had been the Rams, it's a question because a tie does the Rams some good in that case. The Seahawks,
I have an analytics thing that I want you to work on. I don't know if you can answer this right now. So maybe you do this after we go off the air. Here's my thinking. And I know this is, I'm not usually out of the box when it comes to analytics, but I want to know the analytics on this. You win the toss, you take the ball first. If you score a touchdown, you go for 2. That way, if the other team scores a touchdown, they're going to go for 2 anyway. So now if they go for 2, they're going to tie the score, and then you have a chance to get the ball back and go kick a field goal to win it. So you kind of control everything if you go for. I want to know, again, you don't need to do that right now, but I'd like to talk about this at some point in the future because I really think you're probably better off getting the ball first. If you want to really control your own destiny, you get it, you go score a touchdown, you go for 2, and then if you don't get the 2-point conversion, well, then you're just playing that much harder to make sure they don't score a touchdown.
I'm surprised to hear you say that because that's pretty similar to the thinking of the going for 2 when when you score down 14. The idea being let's control our destiny. We can win this in regulation if we can get this 2-point conversion.
Maybe I'm coming over to the dark side. It's an interesting.
Think it depends? So
this is where that's aggressive.
All of this stuff depends on the game state. If that game had been 9-9 going into overtime, I think everyone's playing it differently because it's hard to get these 2-point conversions. But the fact that they were both having success on offense, you couldn't, you certainly couldn't count on your defense to get a stop.
Correct.
Then in that case, you're more likely to go.
That's why we're going for 2.
Defensive game.
Yeah, and I don't think either one of those teams. We saw Seattle; they got 3 straight 2-point conversions, and one of them was a fluke. Yeah, but they still got them. So I think the Rams would have had a good chance of getting a 2-point conversion too. So, but you just like Earl's pick says, the Rams trusted their defense. Well, they shouldn't have. They had given up, 16 fourth quarter points. They shouldn't have trusted their defense. That's kind of the point. So
that game was, that just has to, excuse me, I know there's no love lost for Rams fans in this city, but you just have to be sick after that game if you're a Rams fan. They
you
absolutely
blown the number 1 seed.
They were up by 16 points with the ball.
97.4%.
Yeah, with 9:48 to play. 16 points with the ball. And Sam Darnold's like throwing interceptions and kind of doing the clutch Sam Darnold thing. And honestly, Rashid Shaheed completely changed that game. But
he did.
Even without
100%.
that. Yeah, even without that, you can't it's just hard to fathom how the Rams lost that game.
Rashid Shaheed absolutely turned that game around. And if you didn't see it, go back and watch it. Not just the punt return, but he made a big play on the next return as well. Or he caught, I'm sorry, it was an end around. It was an end around in the next drive.
Yeah, it was a running play, I think.
Yeah, it was an end around.
They shovel it to him, maybe.
No, it was a running play. It was a running play.
And I have to say, on that drive, which was the Seahawks' second touchdown that led to the fluky 2-point conversion, you had that play and then the play that schemed open their tight end on the touchdown. I can't remember his name. Is it? I'm blanking on his name, but the touchdown that made it 30-28. That was, I mean, both of those were brilliant calls by Clint Kubiak. So I think you got to give him some
backup tight end or
the touchdown that made it 30-28. The tight end's wide open, and Darnold just kind of floated it out there. Look at the scheme of that play, just really well done by Kubiak.
And it goes to show you the difference, how good. And then we got the Tulane slide up while we're talking about Seattle and Rams, but this goes to show you that that Darnold can be stinky crap one moment and be really good the next. But that's one main reason why I just don't give Seattle much of a chance to do anything in the playoffs, because I don't think he can be consistently good enough when it counts to go further. But I guess we're going to find out, because they have a decent chance to. Barner caught the 2-point conversion. Did he catch the touchdown too?
He may have. So may have been him.
But, I know he caught.
To your point,
2-point conversion.
It certainly helps Seattle out if they're going to be at home. Now they're going to have to beat the Niners in Week 18 to make sure they get that one seed. But I think you have a much better chance of Darnold performing better in the playoffs if he gets to be at home the whole time.
Yeah. Anyway, work on that analytics thing problem for you and get back to me, and maybe we'll talk about it next week. All right. We got to make our predictions here for Tulane before we move on, and I'm going to start with you as I usually do. Tulane, Ole Miss. No one's given the Wave a chance. I asked you if they had any chance, and you think
not really.
Not really. 37-14. He's got Ole Miss winning. Go ahead.
I know that I'm like the low man on Tulane here. We have picks coming out in Saturday's paper about this, and everybody else picked the game to be closer. I just worry a little bit that there's a little too much conversation about, well, they can't play that bad again. Oh, that was Tulane's worst day of the season. They have to play better than that. And it's like, okay, yeah, but they're going to have to play a whole lot better than that to be in this game. I mean, they got beat by 35, and I'm not sure it was that close in September. Right. So they can play better and still lose this game by 3 touchdowns. And I guess that's just where I'm at. I don't think Tulane is as bad as they showed in September, but I think that the whole Kiffin thing is a little bit overblown. I think it has just as good of a chance to galvanize Ole Miss as it does to distract them. I think that they could be like, well, fine, screw you, coach. We'll do it for I do it for myself, Joe Boo. And that they're just hyper focused and they want to go take it out on the Green Wave. So I think there's definitely a chance of that. The crowd is going to be crazy. I'm excited. I get to go be there. And that's going to be a lot of fun. And so like I said before, I hope Tulane proves me wrong. I hope I look like an idiot. I hope that they are just the talk of the college football world Saturday night, but I don't see it.
Here's my thing as I get to my pick. If you want to make a pick here, now is your time to do so in Tulane, because we're about to move on from the Green Wave. My thing is this. I don't necessarily think that Lane Kiffin is going to have the effect of, it's tossed them up into controversy or whatever. It's hard to say what I mean. But what I do think is, I think they're going to miss his play calling ability more than anything. And that's why I think that this is going to be a game going into the fourth quarter. I don't think that Tulane's going to win the football game, but I actually think it's going to be fairly close. I've got Ole Miss 33, Tulane 26. I do think that Tulane's going to be able to score points. It wouldn't surprise me if this is even like higher scoring, like 40 to 30 or something along those lines. But I think that Tulane's going to keep it close enough to make it interesting and show people that, all the people, the naysayers out there that think Tulane doesn't belong in the college football playoffs, you're just flat out wrong. They 100% belong in this playoff. If you don't want them in this playoff, then college football should change their system. But if they're not in the playoff, then we should just change the way we're doing this. I know this. Tulane beat the ACC champion. They deserve to be in the. You can make an argument against James Madison, but I don't think you can make an argument against Tulane. And I think Tulane has something to prove here, and I think they do. I don't think they win. It wouldn't absolutely shock me if they win, but I think that Ole Miss is also a little high on their britches. I think they think that they're going to be able to cakewalk over Tulane.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I could definitely see it being a game. I mean, you just never know with these things. And yeah, if you're going to let a group of 5 team into the playoff, if those are the rules, Tulane was clearly deserving. They were the best group of 5 team. They had the best season, bar none. Whether we should be giving an automatic bid to group of 5 teams, some people don't think so. I personally think it's cool. I think it gives an opportunity to a big underdog like this. And so like I said, I hope they go win it. I'm just a little concerned, especially if they fall behind and you have to maybe abandon the run faster than you want to, and they start to tee off on Retzlaff. Like I do think there's some blowout potential, but yeah, I hope they make a game of it.
Well, and Zach's going to be in Oxford. Are you going to make it to the Saints game?
I'm going to try. I don't know if I'm going to make it for kickoff, but we're staying in Woodville, Mississippi, which is like west of Jackson.
What, Mississippi?
Kind of the best place. Woodville.
Woodville. Okay.
It was the best place we could find for a reasonable price that was like without going to Memphis, and then you've got to backtrack. Everything in Oxford is super expensive. So anyway, we're staying in Woodville. It's like a 4.5 to 5 hour drive from the Dome. So have to leave pretty early Sunday morning to make it. I'm also battling this cold. So if I'm feeling like crap, I probably
Jackson's only like 3 hours. You're driving back down towards Jackson? Jackson's only 3 hours from New Orleans.
It's west of Jackson. I'm not sure exactly how much. Okay. I could have it off. Maybe it's only 4 hours.
All right. Well, we'll see if we see you there or not. I will be there on Sunday. All right, it's time to move on. As we move on, I
guess it's only about 3 hours, so that makes it a little bit easier.
Very quickly, and I'm just going to show this slide for just a moment because we're not really going to talk about it. But who the heck is playing for LSU? I know you guys have been doing your LSU Insider podcast, and how do you even talk about LSU right now? I mean, it's Frank Wilson's going to Ole Miss. Does he even care? They have one quarterback on that roster. They have one running back. Does LSU even care about this game? And I jumped on this. I got to be honest. It's off the board now at DraftKings, by the way. I had to bet it on what did I bet? I bet it on MGM. But this might end up being off the board at a lot of places. I think Houston -3 is like one of the gifts of the holiday season.
It might be. Now the guys who are out there for LSU, I think, will really play hard. I do believe that, and I think that's one of Frank's skills is that he can get these guys to play hard for him. So I don't doubt that. But you're right. Like the guys aren't out there. Jared Nussmeier's not playing now. What's his name? Colin Hurley transferred. So Jawan Johnson's transferring. They have one healthy quarterback. It's Michael Van Buren. They're at walk-ons if something happens to Van Buren. So there is absolutely some opportunity for just hilarity. Just kind of like there was in the Texas Bowl when they played.
It'd be funny. It'd be kind of sad, honestly.
At K-State, they played like 3 years ago, and they were using a wide receiver at quarterback. It was in the Texas Bowl as well. And I think there's a possibility that something like that could happen. And Houston seems like it's got most of its roster. So I agree with you. I think Houston's the pick. I do think LSU will play hard. I wouldn't put it past them. I'd give them a better chance than Tulane.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess you give them better. I mean, I guess realistically, you have to give them better. I mean, you can't give a better chance to Tulane and they're 17.5-point dogs and LSU's a 3-point dog. I mean, that wouldn't make any sense. All right. That's it for LSU. We'll talk more about LSU next week, probably than we will right now. Let's get to the Saints and finishing up their home schedule. It's hard to believe that the Saints this is their final home game of 2025, but it is. And your Christmas present is that you're a 6-point favorite over the New York Jets. This spread has gone from 4.5 to 6. Now, there's not that big of a difference when you're going. If you were going from 2 to 3.5, that would be a big difference. But 4.5 to 6 is not that big of a deal. But it goes to show you that probably most of the money is on the Saints.
Yeah, and that's the part that's a little bit scary, right? It's like the Saints they haven't been this big of a favorite, I believe, since Dennis Allen's final game. The one in Carolina, they were a 7-point favorite that they lost.
Yeah, Gabe looked that up. Yep.
And so they were like 5.5 against the Giants last fall, and the game Carr got hurt in. But I believe it's been since that game in Carolina that they've been this big of a favorite. They haven't won as this big of a favorite since they beat Tommy Giblets in the Dome in the Giants in December of 2023. So it's been a long time, and most of the guys you got out there, at least on offense, are very young. You've got a rookie left tackle, a sophomore right tackle, a rookie quarterback, inexperienced running backs, inexperienced wide receivers beyond Chris Olave. How do they handle that? Now, the Jets are not very good. I think if you can get a lead on the Jets, they may just let go of the rope. But you have to get that lead, and the Saints have had trouble getting off to strong starts. So I could see this being difficult. And it's the NFL, man. So like, you just never put past a surprise. You never put a surprise on the impossible list.
Yeah, man. Who's going to play quarterback? Is it Cook or is it Tyrod Taylor that's playing this week?
Pretty good. Shout out
Cook's
Mizzou.
playing.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Mizzou. Yeah, well, there you go. So a battle of rookie quarterbacks here. I mean, is anyone outside of fans of the Saints and Jets going to watch this game?
People who have 250-1 tickets on Tyler Shuck to win Rookie of the Year might watch.
Yeah, that's true. And I actually know people who are like banged up at quarterback and are using Tyler Shuck this week, and they're semifinals of the playoffs in fantasy football. I think they're a little cray-cray, but whatever. I mean, I guess if you're going to use them, this is the week. I find this interesting that talked about this a little bit yesterday on Eric Asher's show, but this is the game, and people forget sometimes that if you go back in time and think about who the Saints coach was going to be back, as we're going to Super Bowl week, and it was starting to look like Kellen Moore by then, but but the week before that, we didn't know what was going to happen. Was Aaron Glenn going to pick the Jets or was he going to pick the Saints? There's no question that I think there's no question that the Saints wanted Aaron Glenn to be their coach. And man, and I'm not saying Kellen Moore's been a world beater so far. That both their rookie seasons as a coach, but Aaron Glenn's 10 or 12 years older. It's been quite the ride for Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, and you hate to judge a guy just based on one year, and he's had injuries, and it's it's been rough. But there's also been some things, kind of like there was with Kellen Moore for a while, that make you question, even in year one, is this the guy? Now, he's going to be ultimately judged on how he performs with whatever quarterback they get in the draft, because this is a team that absolutely needs to go get a Mendoza if they have the number 1 pick, or if it's not Mendoza, then somebody. I don't know. They're going to have to get somebody in the draft. I to be honest with you, I'm not in love with this quarterback class in the draft, which is one reason why it's so good that the Saints have the answer, or at least have a guy that they are willing to give another year as the starter. And so that's tough, man. Like, if you're Aaron Glenn, he chose the Jets offer over the Saints. I know he interviewed with the Saints. I don't know how serious it ever got. And that is a little bit curious to me, because now he probably has some emotional connection to the team he played for in the Jets, but he also coached in New Orleans. So I'm a little bit like, at the time he interviewed, you thought Derek Carr was still going to be the quarterback. And as a rookie head coach, you really want to go into a situation with a stable quarterback. Ended up neither one was like that, but it does look like a curious choice looking back on it for Aaron Glenn.
Another interesting situation is, if the Saints do get Aaron Glenn and do go with Aaron Glenn, is Tyler Shuck still a New Orleans Saint? Because I'm fairly certain that Tyler Shuck was Kellen Moore's pick. So it would have been interesting to see if that would have still have been the case had they gone a different. it's so many different things could have happened. If Aaron Glenn ends up being the coach of the Saints, is it a different situation? I don't know. I don't think they go with Tyler Shuck. I don't think they picked Tyler Shuck there. Maybe they picked Shedeur Sanders. Maybe they, and then the Shedeur Sanders and Spencer Rattler are battling out. Who knows? But interesting situation.
It's really hard to say what Aaron Glenn would have done there. I mean, who his offensive coordinator would have been like.
Right.
I don't know. It's a sliding doors thing for sure. But it looks like at this point, December 19th, 2025, like the Saints came out on the good in that situation.
There's
Maybe
no
just
doubt.
by I don't know, but it certainly looks like that at this moment in time.
I think that's definitely true. All right. If you want to get your picks in for the Saints game, we're going to be making our picks in about 3 minutes. I want to talk about where the matchup here and where the Saints might have the advantage or disadvantage for that matter. It's clear where they have an advantage, Zach, and it's the fact that the Jets can't run the ball. They can't really throw the ball either, but they certainly can't run the football. Well, they can't throw the 32nd, the last in the league in passing against the Saints defense. That's sixth in the NFL now. They have climbed up every week, Zach. They've gone from 12th to 11th, and they were 11th for a few weeks, then went up to 9th, and then were 9th for a little bit. They're all the way up to 6th against the pass. That's kind of incredible, and it just goes to show you how well that defensive front has played because they've helped put pressure on the opposing quarterback.
Brady Cook has thrown 5 interceptions in his 2 games, or like game and 3 quarters. 3 of them have been in the end zone. So when the space gets tight, he's having trouble fitting it into windows. So I'd look for that. On the other side, Jim, you may know this offhand, but if you don't, I want you to guess how many interceptions the Jets have as a team this season on defense.
I do know the answer to this. The answer is 0.
0.0, baby.
Which is hard to believe, considering, I mean, you know.
Sauce
didn't leave until what? Yeah, I mean, Sauce didn't get traded till like 4 weeks ago, right?
Right. I mean, how do you not get a tipped ball, a tip drill interception, or a Hail Mary, or at the end of a half, or something? An overthrow that goes bad. I would have to look this up, but I venture to say that has that has happened less than 5 times in NFL history. That
I'm sure.
With 0 interceptions, maybe back in like Depression era football when they never threw, but that's like beyond that. When?
Gabe, can you look up and see what the odds are on Shuck to throw a pick in this game? Because it just feels like to me that this is the one that he would do it, right? I mean, they never. I mean, exactly. Yeah. So just all this talk. I mean, it just. Gabe's looking it up. He's way ahead of me. It just seems like to me that this would be the game that they would do that. I don't know. I don't want to get to my pick. I don't want to be Derry Downer, but we'll get to my pick in a minute. But the Saints obviously are a better team than the Jets. Look, the odds makers think they're 6-point favorites, but you look at these numbers and really the only place that the Jets have any kind of advantage is, and I misspoke when I said this earlier. I didn't mean to say it like this, but the Jets actually have the 6th best rushing offense in the NFL against the Saints' 26th best rushing defense. But it's a little misleading because the Saints have been so much better overall defensively the past month or so. The Saints are 26th in the NFL against the run.
This is the same game plan with Carolina. You absolutely force Brady Cook to beat you. If Brady Cook can somehow beat you without Garrett Wilson,
100%.
Without Mason Taylor, then tip your cap. But you focus on stopping Breece Hall in that Jets running game, and you make Brady Cook beat you, and I don't think he can do it.
Yeah, I agree with you. By the way, Shuck is, wow, minus 115 to throw an interception, either over or under a half an interception. And that's at BetMGM. It's not available at DraftKings or FanDuel. Thank you, Gabe. That's an interesting bet considering he hasn't thrown an interception. That seems like, I mean, that's actually value on the under there. But I mean, I don't want to jinx the dude. I don't know. I didn't think that. Yeah, Brady Cook to throw a pick. By the way, excuse me, is minus 185.
That's one of those things you're just asking for if you bet that.
That's crazy.
You're the one who will get the tip drill interception as soon as you bet that.
UBN says Zach saying that a Mizzou quarterback can't beat you. What is this world coming to?
I love my school, but what was the last good NFL quarterback from Mizzou? It's
Have
not
they
a
had
long
one?
list. Well, they blamed Gabbert. It was a high draft pick who kind of became a backup. Chase Daniel.
Yeah. Have they had one?
I'll tell you who the best NFL career by a Mizzou quarterback. Oh, Drew Lock, has had a decent career, but as a backup mostly. The guy who's had the best career in recent times after playing quarterback for Missouri did not play quarterback in the NFL. That was Brad Smith, who played for the Jets, and he was a return man and a kick returner, and he was a good return man. But he was a quarterback at Missouri. That was when I was in school there. He's probably been the best one.
You know what Mizzou quarterbacks probably can do better than any other kind of quarterbacks? They probably can write better than other quarterbacks. That's about it.
Chase Daniel knew how to make paper, man. He's making himself money.
I'm going to get to, again, last chance to get your picks in. I'm going to show all the picks after Zach makes his Saints pick, and he's taken, 27-9. Zach is jumping on the public bandwagon.
I hate it, man. I hate it. I did. The way everybody is talking about this game, and I have a feeling Jets fans are probably talking about this game this way too, is like, how is the spread not 6? It should be 16. The Jets have no chance. They're getting blown out left and right. And I hate it because every time that's the consensus, our Saints Insider that we just recorded that will drop this afternoon, we had 5 predictions. All 5 of us picked the Saints to cover.
Yeah.
I think 8 points was the closest. Okay. Yeah. I mean, and I hate being on that side of it. But when I start thinking about this game realistically, like I said, if you stop the Jets running game, how Brady Cook's going to go beat you? The way this defense is playing, I don't see that. And the way Tyler Shuck's playing, I think Tyler Shuck could put up a pretty good day here. One thing people don't appreciate about Shuck is, without some of his weapons, his offensive line has been banged up. Obviously, Alvin Kamara hasn't been in there. Now Devin Neal's not in there. Now Devon Vele's not in there. Like, Tyler Shuck is not just leading this team to wins. He's kind of carrying this offense.
No, there's no question about it. I mean, he really is. I mean, who he's got Olave and he's got Juwan Johnson, and that's about it. I mean, so can he do that again with just those 2 guys?
I guess we're going to find out. Like, the Jets changed coordinators. We didn't talk about that. Like, could you possibly see a small scheme change or improved effort from the Jets defense now that they've changed coordinators? It's always possible. But I still think if this is a game where the Saints get up 13-3 at halftime or something, the Jets are just, where's the effort going to be in the second half? I don't know.
You got me.
And yet, Girls picks 27 would be. That's why I picked that. Saints have not scored more than 26 this season. So
you could have picked 6-7. I mean, there it is.
I was at the LSU field trip game this week, man. They got to 67 points. It was chaos in there.
Oh God, I can only imagine. All right, let's get to some of the fans' picks. The Dat family out there. Alvin saying 21-17 Saints. Earl, you can't take the Saints money line. They're minus 275. There's absolutely no value whatsoever in taking the Saints money. You can't. You simply can't. You can do whatever you want, but I'm telling you, don't do that. There's no value.
Got to parlay that with someone else, probably.
Yeah, even that. I wouldn't even do that. Tom says, looking forward to seeing more of estimate running back for the Saints. Might be a sleeper. Saints 24, Jets 17. Charles Manga says Saints 21-10. Brian S. Steve says, come on, you can do it. 19-16 Saints. Earl says might be a 14-10. Oh, my thing is, my mouse is not cooperating this morning. 14-10. Adam Varner says 28-17 Saints. Bart Pruitt, we had to have a downer in here somewhere. The Saints should win, but as we know, they will let us down somehow playing a team they should beat. Jets 20, Saints 19. Well, that's good that we got one. You had to have one. Exactly. Christopher Crump, Saints 28, Jets 6. Silver Gator says 24-17 Saints. Thank you, Gabe, by the way, who's taking over my pressing button duties. Is that it? We got more. Tom says the Jets are 29th against the run. They don't score much. Why even throw the ball? You got a point. Daryl Hayden says Saints 31. He's going for the blowout. Saints 31. They haven't scored 31 in like 25 years. No, I'm just kidding. But it's been a while. UBN saying Saints 31, Jets 18. And lastly, Earl says he would love to see the Saints put up 27. All right, it's time for my pick. I'm not trying to be Derry Downer. I really not. Look, I'm going to pick the Saints to win here, but I'm going to do so very, I don't know, cautiously, I guess is the right word. There's lots of reasons why the Saints shouldn't be 6-point favorites over anybody. I'm sorry. If you put the Saints against Ohio State, I don't know that I would give 6. The Saints should not be given 6 points to anyone. I understand, and I'm not trying to pee on your parade. Don't get me wrong. I think the way that the Saints have played lately is great. It gives you hope going into next year. But I don't think the Saints, I don't think they're as good as everybody thinks they are. Let's cool our jets, pardon the pun, just a little bit here. I think the Saints win, but I think it's one of those scary maybe Charlie Smith kicks a game-winning field goal. They're down 20-19 with 30 seconds left, and Tyler Shuck does his thing again. I just don't think the Saints are going to score a lot of points. I don't think they have enough offensive weapons to score a lot of points against anybody, not just the Jets. And I think this is a game, and I think it's one that's nervous. I don't think the Saints win out. They should win out, but I don't think they're going to win out. They're going to lose at least one game. I think they'll finish with either 5 or 6 wins, not 6 or 7 wins. And I think that they win this one. I'm going to call it 22-20. St. Louis Obispo. Sorry, real quick. St. Louis Obispo, who that says Saints 21-10. Bill says, Jim, Taysom's going to run wild. Taysom is not going to run wild. 27-10. Taysom needs to go bye-bye. Go ahead.
I like your pick a lot better than mine. I do have to like San Luis Obispo. Got to say the S because the next word starts with a vowel. San Luis Obispo. So, yeah, I like your pick better than mine. I'll just say it. Like I know that I'm being square here, and I know that I'm getting caught up on a little bit of the hype train here, and I should not do those things. We shall see. I do think this is a hard one to predict just because you absolutely could see the Saints kind of stumbling over themselves like they did against Atlanta. I mean, I picked them to lose last week. Probably should have lost that game. Carolina did not manage that game well in the second half. Saints caught some breaks with penalties and things like, and so now we're sitting here saying, oh yeah, they're way better than the Jets. They're not, to your point, they're not way better than anybody. So like, we need to be careful on this. They play the Titans next week. They could lose that game too, because the Titans are still trying. The Jets are the ones who seem like they've kind of quit on this.
Don't steal it from me. I can tell you right now, if the Saints lose this game, and it's absolutely possible that they lose this game, my title slot is going to be "Cool Your Jets."
Like that. I like that, and I do not promise not to steal that. I'll give you credit somewhere though.
Okay.
Anyway, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that I realize I'm getting swept up in it a little bit, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's Christmas.
It's okay. I mean, I'm not saying it's not even anything wrong. Usually I would say, don't get caught up in who cares. They're 4-10. It doesn't, it's like Mal says. They're 4-10. That's not a good record. They're definitely not a good team. I mean, and they aren't. I mean, are they a better team than they were a month and a half ago? Of course. Sure they are. They're starting to figure it out a little bit. Are they going to be a better team next year? I think they're going to be a better team next year. But I mean, let's go. I mean, let's be realistic. They're just
before I go.
Yeah,
Jim, can I break a little news for you here?
Sure, I mean, please.
I'm breaking the news, but I'm just noticing Charlie Smith. Not only is he being activated, we knew that he is going to be signed to a 3-year contract with the New Orleans Saints. So congratulations to Charlie.
Breaking news. Wow. 3-year contract for Charlie Smith. Breaking news on the Dattitude podcast. I thought you were going to say that you were going to rehire me. And I was going to.
I wish.
That's just a joke. Just a joke. Charlie Smith, how can you go? It's 2 games enough to think that this dude could be your kicker for 3? That's a little much, isn't it?
He has exceptional talent. The question is, can he keep it together between the ears? That's what you got. But if he can, and that is something I do believe you can kind of, and this is not to say, look, I don't have a figure. I'm sure that he's probably not being paid all that much. And if things go south, you could cut him in a year for very little penalty. I mean, like, this is a little bit of a win-win for the Saints, but the guy has exceptional talent. If he's able to keep it together.
Yeah, that's a look. Earl says 3 years might be not. That's not might. Charles Manning says he deserves it. Nobody deserves it after two games. I'm sorry. You kicked it. Blake Grupe kicked a 60-yard field goal for the Colts. Does he deserve a three-year contract in Indianapolis? Give me a break. I don't care if the dude kicked a 79-yard field goal. You don't sign a kicker to a 3-year contract after he played 2 games for you. That's silly. That's silly. But
if it's for like league minimum or a little bit before that, it really doesn't matter though.
I guess because it doesn't hurt you if you have to cut him. I guess
it gives him some security. It's a feel good thing. And that way, if he does turn out to be this amazing kicker, which is possible given his talent level, then you have him locked up. So I don't think it's a big deal. It's probably like $1 million a year or something. I mean, we're probably talking about something very reasonable.
Yeah. Brian says they're hoping he can be the next Brandon Aubrey. Well, everybody hopes they have the next Brandon Aubrey. That's fine. I mean, that's fine and dandy, but I hope the Saints don't just go into next year and say we're completely fine at kicker because this dude kicked for 5 games. Whoop-de-doo. Please have a kicker competition. I've been on the Charlie Smith bandwagon for 2 years now. I like Charlie Smith. I think he could be the future kicker, but I still hope that they have a kicker competition in the summer because they need to have one. So, anyway,
I don't think they'll do that.
Yeah. You don't think they're gonna? You don't even think they're gonna bring anybody in
unless he struggles here down the stretch. But if he just kind of continues the way he's been doing, and the other thing about Smith is I think he's probably better at some of the other parts of the job, kickoffs and onside kicks and things, than a lot of kickers because of his background in Gaelic football. Yeah. He probably has a little bit more he can do with the ball as far as spinning it and controlling it and things like that. And so his floor, like, it's weird to say because we're talking about a kicker, but he gives you things that, like, one of the things about Grupe is he struggled with kickoffs at times. He was missing the landing zone and,
that's true.
Kicking it out of bounds. And I don't think you'll get that as much with Smith.
Could he play for Man U?
No.
Okay. What about one of the other?
You don't understand how good soccer is at that level, man. There's very few people in the.
That's not the way to put it. I don't care how good soccer. There's a difference. It's not that I don't know. You're right. I don't know, but I don't care either. There's a big difference. But I do care that hope that you can make it in the Dome on Sunday and that we can have a little fun one last time this year before we move on into hyperspace and 8 months of talking about what could be, because that's coming up soon enough. Aren't you looking forward to it?
In some ways, yes, because I just need
in some ways.
Breathe. But I'll be tired of that by like April, and I'll be ready for the season again.
Yeah,
I might be tired of that by the end of January.
Go to sleep in August, you wake up, it's January. That's the life that we live. So I will see you either Sunday or next Friday back here on the show, and next week I can't wait to preview LSU Houston in the Texas Bowl.
All right, man.
Maybe Tulane, Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. I'll talk to you next week. Zach Ewing, everybody. There he goes. Look, I mean, there are lots of reasons to be fired up about this game. I mean, there really are. But let's just slow down a little bit. Whoa, now pulling the reins a little bit, boys. I'm not trying to be downer, but pulling the reins a little bit. They're not suddenly going to become. They're think about who they played. Okay, I get it. I get it. And I said this on the show yesterday. I'm hopeful. They beat the NFC South leader in back-to-back weeks, but here's a spoiler alert: the NFC South sucks. Okay, it sucks. Okay, Baker's not playing well right now, and Bryce Young, he's been really good in some games and really, really bad in others. And for some reason, the Saints have his number, and they've been able to play really good defense against them twice in a row. And by the way, before we move on into pick 'em, am I the only one who didn't realize how big of a bunch of bitches that the Panthers fans are? Have y'all read social media this week? And they are just crying like babies. I mean, get over yourselves. I don't get that at all. I just don't get it at all. Earl, thank you for the early Christmas present. $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. And Earl has donated, I think, almost every show now. Thank you so much for donating to the Dattitude podcast. Much appreciated. I appreciate it. We appreciate it here at Dattitude. Charles says, I'm pissing UBN off. No, I'm not pissing UBN off. UBN could give a rat's ass about soccer. Gabe is the soccer lover, not UBN. Tom appreciates Zach's perspective. So do I. And look, Zach and I, we often have the same thing. I'm glad that we're on different sides of the fence here. Earl says that the Saints are taking the NFC South next season. I'm going to be interested to see if the Saints have a really good draft. I think they've had 2 good drafts in a row now. I don't look, y'all can hate on Mickey Loomis all you want, but I think the Saints have had 2 really good drafts in a row. The problem is they've had some really stinkers in the past 5 or 6 years too. However, what do we think the Saints odds will be for the 2026 season to win the South? I'm thinking if I make the odds right now, I would probably put, I don't know, why did this come up all of us? What is going on here? There's some weird stuff going on on my computer. My Apple Music just came up on my computer. If the Saints finish strong, okay, let's say they finish with 6 wins. Okay, and that means that they won 4 out of their last, what is that? It'd be 6 and 11, 4 out of their last 5. They won 4 out of their last 5 games. And they have a good draft. Are the Saints like plus 250? Plus 200 maybe? I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see. I'm really looking forward to those. Gabe says plus 350. I mean, maybe. I'm not going to go out there and say that, I'm not going to crown them. You want to crown? Just crown them. I'm not crowning anybody. But I think plus 250, plus 300 is certainly realistic. Charles Mangus, thank you for the $5. I appreciate it very much. Tom as well. Thank y'all so much, your Dattitude family. Love it. Tom says the only thing he knows, by the way, is about soccer and his go-to guy. Well, he didn't say that the only thing he knows about soccer. I'm putting words in his mouth. Ted Lasso is his go-to soccer guy. Mine too, Tom. Mine too. Adam Varner says, to be honest, unless Breece Hall scores like 3 touchdowns against the Saints, I don't think the Jets win. They don't move the ball well. You're not looking at this in the right way. Okay, Adam. Again, I'm not trying to piss on your parade. The Saints aren't as good as you think they are. Okay. I know the defense has played well, and they've been outstanding. I'm not taking anything away from them, but the Saints have had trouble stopping the run. And if you go look at their numbers over the past 4 weeks, as good as they've been against the pass, they haven't been that great against the run overall. They've given up like 120, 150 even. I think one game they gave up like 160-something yards against the run. We'll see. I think the Saints win, but I don't think it's nearly as easy as a lot of y'all. I think it's going to be a tight game, and I hope we don't have a bunch of downers here on Mono Monday. Apathy says, as before we move on here, I'm telling you right now, if Tulane pulls the upset, Ole Miss fans better disperse quickly, because all they've done since it was first reported Kiffin was flirting with LSU is run their mouth. Oh, that's what they do. Because when you've never won before, the only thing you know how to do is run your mouth, because you don't know what it's like to have won before. I mean, let's just face it. Ole Miss is an LSU. Okay. They don't know what it's like to win every 5 or 6 or 7 years. Okay. They don't know what it's like to have the greatest team in college football history, because that's what LSU had. They're like the little brother you keep bopping on the top of the head. Get away from me. That's who Ole Miss is. And every now and then they have a team that's better than LSU, and they don't know how to do it right because they've just never been there before. You know who has done it before? Evangeline Securities. They've done it before. We told you earlier we let you know more about them and how they can help figure out what your family run or privately held business might be worth and whether it's time to sell. How do they do it? Of all the questions we've had today, that one's the best. After their complimentary evaluation of your company, if you decide to proceed, Native New Orleans and Nick Braden and the folks at Evangeline, they'll begin an extensive auction process from among established private equity funds from around the world. They'll maximize the return for the founder and his or her family. Evangeline Securities is the top producer on their platform. There are very few companies like them in this area, and I mean none. 0.0 with their dedication and success. They are fully licensed. They're ready to serve you. So get in touch with Nick and Ron about what's really important. And it ain't Ole Miss. They ain't really important. You know what's really important? shots for your life. You get in touch with them at www.evangelinesecurities.com. Guess what time it is, boys and girls? And he's just happy that he's got the fire again. It doesn't happen very often, but it's happened 2 weeks in a row now. The fire. He's on fire, and he's taking the lead in the Pick'em. The Pick'em crew as a whole is 70-55 against the spread. UBN is now leading the pack, both record-wise and points-wise. You get the first word, sir.
And I had to do it getting out of my lane. Imagine that.
Well, sometimes it just makes you feel comfortable getting out of your lane. And who knows what kind of lanes we're going to be in this week. I'm going to say this ahead of time before we even pick. There is one pick. We don't have any crossfire, but like last week. Oh, no, last week we had crossfire. This week we have a like pick.
Some idiot picked Miami and Pittsburgh. I don't know who that was.
I'm not going to mention any names here, but he's 2-1, and we know what the one is. But
Tua
Tua
turned the ball over. Shut up.
Two
Not
of
this
us,
week.
not to go with Tua, but two of us have made the same pick this week. Do y'all have any? Well, we'll see what it is. Do you have any guess? Anybody want to guess? I mean, Gabe doesn't know Nick's picks, and Nick doesn't know Gabe's picks, so it's hard.
Is it New England?
Do we have a like pick? Is it us?
Yeah, it's 2 to 6.
I don't know. I'm not going to give it away. All right, let's just get into the picks, and we're going to let the birthday boy, even though it's not his birthday's in March, but he's celebrating the birthday boy by wearing his shirt. Happy birthday to Jesus. 25-17.
Before his birthday, so I had to represent.
3-0 last week, 39-point differential. And this week, why not have some more great picks?
Uncle Bidnick, can we make some picks today? Well, can we please?
He got over the pick'em jinx, the song jinx, and he has been
a long time. I had to go after you, Joe Boo.
He loves the song. And what we got going on in here? You're starting off with the fighting green wave of Tulane.
Yeah, I don't know. I got burned last time I picked this game, and I don't know. I could see this being within 2 touchdowns. I mean, Zach even said if they play better, what they're gonna lose by 2 touchdowns. Well, that's all I need them to do is lose by 2 touchdowns. Like, I just think, I don't know, is Ole Miss in shambles? Is Ole Miss, I know they're a better team, they got better talent, but I don't know, it's just so much up in the air. And I really think this Tulane team wants to play hard for Summerall before he leaves and stuff like that. So I can see this just being close. I think the only blowout of the weekend is going to be James Madison in Oregon. Yeah. I didn't have the cojones to pick the 24 points or whatever it is. So it's just because I can see a backdoor cover in that game if Oregon just don't care. But like you said about Ole Miss with the little brother thing, I think they more like the little brother that you hold in his head and he just keeps swinging and he can't reach you.
Yeah,
that's
and
you're
just laughing at him.
Yeah, you just hold him on the head.
And every now and then he gets a punch in.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, what the hell was that? And then you kick him in his Jimmy. Kick him in the Jimmy. Can I say that on the air, by the way? Gabe, is that a lot?
You said the F word on the air, so what else is it?
All right. Yeah, you're right. Once you say the F word, you pretty much can say whatever you want. All right. All right. Tulane plus 17.5 over Ole Miss's. UBN's picked. And
I really don't know if I'd have took this if I didn't get the hook. Like, I like the hook. Yeah, 17.5.
Okay. All right. That changed it off. That hook on the
17. Yeah, it did. It really did, because I looked at it, I said, oh, I'm getting a hook. And if you'd have came back and said, oh, you don't get the hook anymore, I'd have took
16.5, I think, at MGM.
Yeah, I'm not taking that.
Yeah, interesting pick there. All right. Well, you've been on fire lately. And by the way, us as a whole, again, 70-55 against the spread. That is 56% against the spread. That's not us picking, just pick, I think Ole Miss is going to win. Anybody can do that. No, we're picking against the spread, 70-55. So, all right, your next pick, you're going back to the NFL. You're staying out of your lane. You got 2 out of your lane again. You like the Patriots +3 over the Ravens in Baltimore.
I don't trust this Baltimore revamp, they better on defense thing. Lamar's not right. I don't know what's up with Lamar, but
There's no doubt about that.
he's not right. And this Baltimore team, I just can't see New England coming off that blown lead. Vrabel's too good a coach to have them lay an egg twice like that. And I just think they're going to come out and destroy Baltimore at home. I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand
the line either.
I mean, I'm kind of scared of the line because it seems too easy. But are people betting Baltimore? I don't know. But I've seen 3 points. Are you kidding me?
It's a must-win for Baltimore. So
yeah,
and also New England too. They got to win to keep the division lead.
Yeah, and
they
also
have no margin for error anymore.
I think that you look at this, and this tells you that on a neutral field, Baltimore would be a slight favorite, probably just on the money line. It would basically be pick 'em, but maybe just a little bit. And that to me, that just why I don't understand that either. I don't get it.
I will say this about New England: they have up to this point had the easiest schedule in the NFL. So there's a lot of skepticism among fans. I'm not saying myself. You guys know how high I've been on the Patriots. Have been. I was before the season. I am now. But there's a lot of people who think New England isn't battle tested.
But is Baltimore a great team?
No. Charles Mangus is loving on your shirts. He says you always have the coolest shirts. And my friend Arlene likes the Patriots here too. I think a lot of people, I think, and I don't know this, but you don't have to look it up, Gabe. But my guess is, especially as we get closer, I would be willing to bet that the sharp money is going to be on the Patriots here, and the tickets are going to be on the Ravens. That's just
the Patriots. Of course, the sharp money's on the Patriots.
I mean,
I don't know. I think public money might be on the Patriots as well.
Oh, I don't know.
They see the number 2 seed in the AFC with a plus sign next to their name.
I don't think they look at it like that. They don't look at that kind of shit, Gabe. They just look at, the Ravens. They got to win. I'm thinking the Ravens. Lamar Jackson. Blah, 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 blah.
You just said it. It's a must win, and the Patriots.
Now I've got to look it up.
All right, look at it. All right, we're going to finish up here, and you got the Chiefs. And, boy, this is a game. I can't imagine too many people are betting this either way. Chiefs, Titans. You got Cam Ward against, what's his name? The
fight Minshew's. Yeah. Minshew Mania, baby.
You got Minshew Mania. Over 37.5 in Nashville.
This Titans,
you don't think the Titans are ahead to the Saints?
Huh?
You don't think the Titans are looking ahead to the Saints?
Maybe. I mean, the Saints hottest team in NFL right now. The best team in NFL right now. I mean, they can't lose against the Jets. Never.
Set them up. Set them up.
Yeah, this offense has been playing better. Cam Ward's been playing better. You know, Chandler Jones didn't have a stat last week. Not a stat. I think he's making $30 million a year. Didn't do anything. Like has this
early in the season as well.
KC hasn't been in this spot in 10 years.
Yeah,
where they don't have nothing to play for.
Real quick, Tom, that's not a 37.5 point spread. That's the total. He's taking the over 37.5. That Kansas City's not a 37.5 point favorite. I mean, for those who don't bet, I can understand why you wouldn't get that. That means that we think
there's never been a 37.5 point spread.
If you
not NFL.
Nope. 28 is the largest spread ever.
I didn't know that. This is Uncle Big Nick saying that he thinks that the combined points will be over 37.5, which is what that's what that means. So anyway, lastly, your last theory on this over and this one. Did you look up the weather? I didn't, by the way.
I didn't either. I don't care about the weather. I mean, Minshew's going to come out. He's going to sling it. The receivers for Kansas City, none of them are like guaranteed to be on this team next year besides Rice and Worthy, I think.
Perfect. The weather's perfect, by the way. It's going to be 50 degrees and almost no wind and sunny.
I can see
my only worry with Kansas City would be they've got one of the most banged up offensive lines in the country. And say what you will about Tennessee as a team, their defensive line is pretty elite.
Yeah.
I think the number's way too low.
I think that's an overreaction. I agree. And here's some bad news for you, I like all three of your picks. I don't know if I'm betting all three of them or not, but I like all three of you.
Update on the Patriots: 77% of spread bets are on the Patriots, 68% of the money.
Wow. Okay.
Public likes the Pats.
You is square.
Hey, we've done well with square picks this year.
Hip to be square. It's hip to be square. All right, moving on. It's time for Gabe. gets the black and gold this week. He's 2-1, and he's starting out with the Bengals against the Fighting Gucci's. Boy, what do the Gucci's have to even? They got a new quarterback in there. Do they even give a rat's ass? Now the Bengals don't have a lot to give rat's ass for, but anyway, you got Bengals -4.5 over the Fighting Gucci's.
Yeah, did you guys hear Joe Burrow in his press conferences this week?
Does anybody sound more defeated than that guy right now?
Joe Burrow?
Like, it seems like his best friend dog died.
He's pissed off.
And he's miserable.
And anyone who's listened to him talk, there's nothing Joe Burrow hates more than losing. So knowing that the last 2 weeks were on him, he's fuming with himself. I think he comes out and has a huge game here. And as Jim just alluded to, Miami's got nothing to play for. They're officially eliminated from the playoffs. Quinn Ewers, I don't see it. I didn't see it in college. I don't see it in the NFL. Everyone's going to say that this is the perfect week to start him because the Bengals defense stinks. No, there's not. I think the Bengals defense will.
The perfect week to start him was Texas versus Delaware.
And then Earl's pick mentions Achane. Achane's averaging like 20 fantasy points a game, but when Tua doesn't start, that number is down to 8.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think Cincinnati's pissed off. I think Joe Burrow is going to have a big day, and I think
I'm gonna say this about this game. And UBN and I listen to this podcast together, and they talk about when a team like loses a game that completely eliminates them, and they're done in their season.
Dream crusher.
They call it the Dream Crusher game. And I think that the Dolphins had their Dream Crusher game last week, and it doesn't get better after you have your Dream Crusher game. It gets worse. So that's why I kind of like this pick too. And the Bengals already been crushed. So
you had 16-degree weather, and then you get your Dream Crusher game, and you go back to Miami in 70-degree weather. Like, what are you playing for here?
Yeah, I don't think. Apathy says you'd be defeated too. The Bengals have had 5 years to fix their O-line. Plus, that's 20 years in real lifetime. I mean, it kind of is. Tom says Cincinnati fans are worried Burrow's going to leave like Carson Palmer did. Charles says they are.
Joe Burrow's not going to leave. I'm sorry to tell you guys. That contract is too big.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to. Yeah.
Unless somebody picks it up.
All right, moving on. We got a Jets Saints bet in here. You got the under 40.5 combined total points. Jets Saints under 40.5.
Do you guys know the Saints record toward the under at home this year?
Yeah, they're like
6-1
or 7-0.
6-1. They're 6-1.
One of the two.
I think the Saints defense is playing phenomenally.
The Giants game.
Yeah, you guys were talking about Brady Cook earlier. Brady Cooks can't score when they get into the red zone. That's if the Jets get into the red zone on the Saints here. I think both teams are going to look on the ball in this game. I think it's going to bleed the clock. I just don't see them scoring over 40 points between the two of them. So, I mean, and I've alluded to it. The Saints offense has had its struggles. They're missing Devon Vele in this game. They're without Devin Neal. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but I think the Saints are going to win handily.
Everything you say makes sense, except that they're so unpredictable, and it's too easy. And that's why it's like I predicted 22-20. I think like barely. If I had to predict, which I don't have to bet, I wouldn't put money on this game if UBN gave me the money to do it. Over. I mean, I'm not taking the over or the under, but I think
last night I can give you a few dollars to do it.
Yeah.
Put it this way: this is a low risk, high reward game.
Yeah.
I don't see this game being a shootout. I don't see them scoring like 30 points apiece. So I'm not going to lose too much in terms if it does go over. Yeah, but if you were to tell me that the Saints win,
it's definitely not going to go way over. Yeah.
If you were to tell me the Saints win this game 17-0, I wouldn't be surprised at all. So that's why I like to play here.
Larry, Jets are tanking. Nobody tanks in the NFL. I tell you that. I know it's hard to believe. No one tanks in the NFL. So Aaron I don't believe that. Now, the Jets stink, so they may just stink to stink because they stink. But no one.
That's another thing. How often do we see teams give up 48 points? How often do we see a defense give up 48 points, come out the next week and give up another huge total? I think the Jets defense will have something to prove here. They'll look a little better. But yeah, I like this to be a low scoring game.
All right, we're going to finish off with your team, Raiders and Texans. You got the under 37.5. That is a low number, but the Texans have been playing phenomenal defense. And if they're going to be in the playoffs, they're going to have to keep it rolling. who better to keep it rolling against than the really bad Las Vegas Raiders, who have Brock Bowers and, they also have a decent running back and not much else.
Yeah, in terms of the Texans defense, they played awful last weekend. They gave up 20 points to the Cardinals. Will Anderson was so pissed off that he wouldn't talk to the media afterwards. D'Amico Ryans came out, and as much as he could said our defense did not play up to standard, the Texans are going to be really motivated in this game. And then I think their 40-point performance on offense was a bit fluky. They had a few big plays. The Cardinals went for it in their own territory multiple times and didn't get it. So the Texans had short fields, but they struggled in the red zone. They got a fumble on a kickoff. So the Texans offense really didn't look phenomenal. I just don't see a way that these teams, unless the Texans do that again, which I don't see happening, I don't see a way these teams combine for 37.5 points. They're a combined 17, 12, and 1 to the under this season. The Texans are 4-2-1 at home to the under, and Vegas is 5-2 to the under as the road team. So I think all signs point toward a low-scoring game in Houston as well.
Could be. I mean, you look at those numbers on the bottom left, and not just our record, but our point differential. To think that the three of us combined, I'm in last place at 23-18 with 36.5 points. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I'm not trying to toot our horns, but seriously, if y'all aren't paying attention,
we should be able to toot our horns a little bit.
I mean, that's pretty impressive. So, but I can't toot much of a horn in the past couple of weeks. So, when you got nothing to lose, what do? You pick Tulane. Tulane, I'm going way out of my lane. I got 2 out of my lane here on this one. You are so screwed, you being. Give me the Tulane.
45-17 again. Here we come.
What the hell else do I have to lose? More money? Whatever. Merry Christmas, bookies. I'm taking Tulane plus 17.5. Again, I think that they play a really good game. I think this is a game into the fourth quarter. That's how good I think Tulane's going to play here. Again, I don't think they're going to win, but I do think they're going to keep it close. I think they're going to fight their keisters off to the it's not like some teams that might give up if they get down like 17. I think even if Tulane gets down 17, they're going to fight back. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, my big thing here is I don't know how Ole Miss is going to – it's not because because Lane Kiffin's gone. I don't think they give a rat's ass that Lane Kiffin's gone. I think it's his play calling. I think maybe they're underestimating how much his offensive play calling and not being there. I think that's what's going to affect Ole Miss more than anything. And
I wanted to say this too. I got a question about this game. What if Ole Miss gets down? What if Tulane comes out and gets up like 14-0? Everybody just freaks out. I know, but I don't think it's. But what if it happens? Like I
don't think Ole Miss will be too discouraged. Did you see North Texas almost come back on Tulane when they were down big?
No, I'm saying not. I mean, we're talking about a totally different dynamic. The coach ain't there. All the turmoil. Tulane comes out.
Are we though? I mean, North Texas's coach was coaching his last game. They were down in a must-win game, big.
But they also had a chance to go to the playoff if they win the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a totally different scenario.
I just look again.
Ole Miss is too talented to give up when they're down there.
I keep hearing that.
They're not going to give up, but I mean, over again. And the pressure's going to be on, is what I mean.
Hardly. Look, no one outside of this area is going to bet on Tulane. They're either going to not bet the game or they're going to bet on Ole Miss because Tulane doesn't belong and Ole Miss is going to wax that ass. I just keep seeing that all over. You want to talk about square? The squarest pick of the week are Ole Miss and Oregon. And I'm not touching the Oregon game because I actually agree with the squares. I think Oregon's going to kill James Madison, but I ain't touching that game with a stick because it's too easy. And here, I just think Tulane's not nearly as bad as people think they are. Again, they beat the ACC champ. So
let me clarify. You say people. None of those people are on this panel. Let me just say that we have at least. I mean. Yeah, we've all been pretty respectful to Tulane all year.
Yeah, no. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, when you look at the number, I looked this morning, it was like 80% money and tickets on Ole Miss. So even like
you guys a fun hypothetical. And this can be real quick. I saw it on Twitter last night. How many Myles Garretts do you have to put on James Madison to make them a favorite at Oregon?
5. On the front line.
I think the answer is 3. I think 3 you were definitively
need all
favorite.
5 across the front line.
I think 2 and you could have a shot.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Oregon's going to just destroy. Again, I didn't want to touch that game because weird things happen. But I think
I'm not.
I think
21.5.
And that's the bad. This is why I really hate James Madison being in there, because if Tulane keeps it close, let's say Tulane loses by 7. Again, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say Tulane loses by 7 and James Madison loses by 50. Nobody's going to talk about Tulane playing within 7. They're going to use James Madison as the example of why these teams don't belong, and it's going to piss me off because these teams 100% belong.
For what it's worth, I think both of them belong. They both have really good resumes.
Look, who else? But I mean, you're going to take the Notre Dame. You're going to take Notre Dame instead of James Madison. Well, Notre Dame, go play in a conference. You bunch of cry baby shit knockers. Anyway,
people don't talk about it. James Madison's only got 1 loss all year. They've beat down a lot of the teams they're
better than a lot of people think they are.
How does Notre Dame get to make their own rules?
Because they're Notre Dame.
Like, I mean, they play in like the ACC in basketball, another division in soccer or whatever. Now, like, I think next year, if they're in the top 12, they automatically get a playoff spot or something.
Which is crazy.
Like that. That's nuts. Like, what? Are we just going to make our own rules? I don't get it.
I mean, yeah, they're making their own rules. Ryan says Oregon is overrated, but they are beating James Madison. I think they're overrated.
Ruby was still offsides.
Dan Lanning will get run. Dan Lanning would not get run out of town if they. First of all, James Madison's not winning, but Dan Lanning's not. He would not go anywhere. Lastly, before I move on to my next pick, Larry, they traded Sauce Gardner, Quinton Williams, started in rookie quarterback, sitting out Garrett Wilson. Does that sound like a team that wants to win? It's not about that. I'm telling you.
The players that are still on that team
y'all
are trying to win.
The Jets win the game, son. And I'm telling you right now, the Jets absolutely have a chance to win the game Sunday.
Nobody
talk about how the Jets
right now wants to lose.
Forget the word shock. It wouldn't even surprise me if the Jets beat the Saints on Sunday. I'm just telling you. I don't think it's going to happen.
The Jets weren't winning games with those guys, and they got a godfather offer for Sauce Gardner. Why would they not trade him? And Quinton Williams. They got really good deals for both of them. Mm-hmm. They've got 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years.
Obviously, says the Jets are going to be bad even with Mendoza. Is it the Jets that are going to get Mendoza, or is it the Raiders?
We don't know.
It's
one of those years, as we predicted earlier in the season, Jim. It's so tight at the bottom, so we just don't know who's going to get what pick.
I know.
We don't know. But if there's any team that's positioned to move up that likes Mendoza, it's the Jets.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, how many times are they going to take quarterbacks? They're like the Browns. All right. Moving on here. Again, staying out of my lane because my lane hasn't worked. That's not really the only reason why I'm doing, but Alabama plus 1.5 over Oklahoma. Again, I know. Look, this one, the other one was anti-square. This is square, and I don't care. One of these teams is sick and tired. I mean, sick and damn tired of hearing they don't belong in the CFP. Now they're just going to prove it that they belong. They're just going to take it out on Oklahoma. I think Alabama's going to win this game significantly. I saw Oklahoma play against LSU, and Oklahoma, frankly, just didn't look that good. I know Oklahoma's beaten Alabama already. I understand it. I get it. But again, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. If I get this pick right and Alabama wins this game, a spoiler alert, I'm probably going to take Alabama again next week against Indiana. Not that I don't think Indiana's any good. I just think that Alabama has got something to prove. If you want to talk about a team with a chip on their shoulder going into the CFP, it's Alabama, and that's why I like them this week. So
I didn't understand Alabama's game plan against Georgia and running the ball. You know, Alabama averages 1 yard per rush before contact. You imagine being a running back and you go 1 yard behind on the line of scrimmage and you get hit. Like that's what they're doing right now. And they came out trying to run the ball against Georgia, the best defensive line in the SEC. Like, I don't get it.
Well,
I don't get this pick.
By the way,
Alabama running the ball.
Hold on real quick. Semi-breaking news. This happened this morning, I think, right when we're going on the air, but Garrett Wilson is officially out for the season. He's going on IR. So,
I already thought he was out for the season anyway.
I don't think nobody thought he was going to play against
I'm glad UBN brought up Alabama running the ball I like this Alabama pick, and that's because they get Jam Miller back. He's missed a lot of the season. I think he brings some diversity to the offense because if he's not playing, all of the load falls on Ty Simpson's shoulders, and Oklahoma's got a good enough defense to stop him there. Oklahoma's got a really good resume, but I like the extra dimension that Jam Miller brings to the Alabama offense here, and it's hard to beat a team twice in college football.
Yeah,
so
it really is. Not that you get a lot of chances to do in college football, but
what the hell happened to Ryan Williams?
They just don't use him very well, and
Why?
I don't think he's as good as everyone thinks he is. He had one really good game.
Earl says
it's a really good season.
Hold on. Earl says he took the Oklahoma money line, and Ryan says Oklahoma could easily be 7-5. He likes Bama as well. So
so could Bama. If you could say that with any team. Oklahoma's the most battle-tested team in the country. Say what you will.
Bama outgained them by 200 yards in Tuscaloosa. Yeah. But I mean, just the turnovers.
Yeah. And Jim, you mentioned Alabama could win this one big. To be fair, in this game, if Alabama wins by 7 with these two hapless offenses, 7 would be considered really big.
And you know what I do like? You know what I think the best part about this pick is the way that we do our picks with the point differential being the number one thing. I think Alabama can win big, and I'm knocking on wood when I say this. I don't think Oklahoma can win big because they can't score enough to win big. So even if Oklahoma wins, I'm not going to lose a lot of points here because I just don't think Oklahoma can win that big, and I just jinxed myself by saying
I don't think we're pulling for Alabama.
Yeah, Tom says being an LSU fan, it's really we don't pull, we pick, we don't pick with heartstrings, Tom, and that we pick with. That's why we're 70-55. We picked against our team. We picked for our team. We picked against teams we don't want to win. We picked. Now this one, I want to be right, and I think I'm going to be right because I will tell you this: when you're struggling, UBN, what do? You go back to Old Faithful, old reliable. Everyone's gushing over the Bears right now. Oh, Caleb Williams, he's the quarterback that everybody thought he was going to be. The Packers, meanwhile, they can't win without Micah Parsons. Something ain't right with Jordan Love. You want to crown them? Crown their asses. They are who we thought they were. They're the Bears. And the Packers, discount double check. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers isn't there. The Packers still own their asses, and the Packers are going to win this game. And I think they're going to win.
Yeah. Are we still into y'all? I was about to ask.
Just saying.
Toyotathon ends January 4th.
Give me the Packers plus 1.5.
I seen a split screen, and I almost threw up. It was a split screen of Caleb Williams rolling to the right and throwing that touchdown pass that he threw this weekend.
Yeah, but with the triple coverage?
No, and with the Joe Montana, the catch.
Oh.
Dude, I swear I almost threw up in my mouth.
That was the luckiest. Like, seriously. Look how good he is. I'm like, good he is. He threw in the triple coverage and got lucky. That's not good. That's stupid.
I'm not saying anything about that play specifically, but I do think Caleb Williams does get a little too much hate. He's played decent this year.
What are you talking about? The media's gushing over him like he's the next Pat Mahomes. He's gonna
and you said he'd be out of the league in 3 years.
You saying he's getting too much love
here. I'm just trying to be the moderate.
I mean, who's giving too much hate besides me?
Well,
no one.
I mean, there are some people, but
no one is.
I'm just
trying
to be the moderator.
Jim's the guy that if you win the 1.5 billion Powerball, he's gonna be the first one to bring up how much taxes you got to pay.
That's right. I am a lot.
He's that down guy. He's gonna always bring up the bad.
Well, you know what? You can always find down and good, and you can always find good and down. Just saying. Anyway, we'll see how our picks do this week, gentlemen. Any final thoughts before we go off the air this morning?
No, I just got to go get this barking dog. I don't know if y'all can hear her.
That's your dog? I didn't know.
Yeah.
Not mine.
All right. Well, we're going to take you off the screen. So
everybody just left.
We will see you next week, UBN, and you won't be on again for Christmas. So Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Gabe, any final thoughts?
I mean, nothing that I already didn't say. I like Bama tonight.
That's why he's not the best call man in the business for nothing, folks. Yeah, they got a set of white walls on the other line. Ryan says there's no middle for Caleb. The media loves him. The general public thinks he sucks. The media absolutely loves him. You're 100% right about that. But I think I think for the most part, even the public loves him too.
I don't know.
Maybe
okay, so here's where I am with Caleb Williams. We'll make this my final thought. Caleb Williams is not panning out as a number one pick. He's not anything spectacular, but he's also on his second offensive coordinator and second head coach. Actually, third offensive coordinator in 2 years, and second head coach. I think he's got a good future. I think he's the Bears franchise quarterback. He's never going to be like he's always going to be where, say, Derek Carr was. He's going to be that 10 to 16 guy.
Okay, well,
and I think that's fine.
I don't think that's wrong.
No, I don't. There's not a problem with that. That's fine.
That's not what the first overall pick of a draft is supposed to be, though.
No, but there's also been countless. I mean, look at Bryce Young. He's already better than Bryce Young.
Okay, so what? You're going to compare him to Tyler Shuck's better than Bryce Young.
I agree with that.
I mean, so that doesn't mean anything. I mean, just because you make the wrong
I'm just
pick.
saying, if you look at number one,
if you draft the guy as the number one overall pick within 3 years, in my opinion, that guy should be top 5 at his position. And I don't think Caleb Williams is ever going to be top 5.
Though.
So I think two things can be true at one time. I think Caleb Williams is probably in the 15-ish range if you rank quarterbacks, 13 to 16, somewhere around there. Just don't think he's. I mean, that's not.
No, but it's different with quarterbacks. I mean, quarterbacks are always going to be taken toward the top. So, and that's just because teams need quarterbacks.
That's why I'm saying, though, people take it wrong when I say what I say about him.
I get it.
When I say he's overrated, just because I think someone's overrated doesn't mean I don't think they're at least okay at the bare minimum. I think at moments he looks fantastic, and at other moments he looks like an ass clown. So,
and I think that's just part of being a young quarterback who's been through. I think Ben Johnson has him looking good. I think say what you will about Ben Johnson. He's really done good for that team.
Yeah, we'll see what they do in the playoffs. I think they're gonna. I don't care who they. Again, I've said this for weeks.
Yeah,
I said it when they were the potential number 1 seed. I'm going to say it now. I think the Bears, spoiler alert, will lose to whoever they play with their first playoff game this year.
I think that just speaks to the stacked nature of the NFC this year and the fact that the Bears have really turned it around quickly. I mean, it's really a blessing and a curse to go to the playoffs this early in your rebuild.
Yeah. All right.
They've had a really good regular season, but they're not ready to compete with the big dogs. I think both are true.
They got the Packers this week. They got the Niners next week, and I think they finish with the Packers again, don't they? Isn't it Packers, Niners?
No, this is their second game against the Packers.
Oh, okay. All right. Is it Packers, Niners, Lions?
I think Lions.
Oh,
yeah. Tough schedule.
That is really a tough schedule. All right. I will see you on Monday. Have a great Christmas. Did you finish shopping yet?
Yep.
All right. You're way ahead of me, pal.
Well done.
All right. I will see you on Monday for Mono Monday. Our last show before Christmas.
Yeah.
All right. Gabe, everybody. Gabe Henderson. And again, our programming schedule for the rest of the year. We'll be here for Mono Monday. And then we'll take Christmas Eve off. And we will finish the calendar year with a Mono Monday on the 29th. And the New Year's Eve will be a recorded. 29th will actually be our last live show of the year. So we only have 2 more live shows of the year. On Wednesday, on New Year's Eve, on Wednesday, December 31st, it will be a best of. Gabe and I are still working on the format for that. It's going to be some kind of a funny award show that involves a dumbass of the year that we haven't figured out yet. We're going to have fun with it. So Earl says he lives in Chicago and he hears hate for Caleb Williams. Okay. All right. Charles says next year Shuck will be a lot better than Cam Ward. I haven't made up my mind on Cam Ward yet. The Titans suck so bad. Their line is so bad. I mean, I know Shuck's line sucks too, but I haven't, if I rank the teams in order of how much I've seen of them, I would say Tennessee's probably 32nd. Shuck inherited a better situation than Ward. I don't know about that. Neither one of them's good. I mean, it looks good now, but I don't know. Maybe. I'm not disagreeing. Look, I don't know that anyone inherited a worse situation than Cam Ward, except maybe the Browns people. The Browns are just the Browns. I'm not, me, I'm not necessarily taking up for Shedeur Sanders, but is there a worse team he could have gone to? a more dysfunctional organization than the Cleveland Browns. So, but I have seen a decent amount of Browns games. So I'm going to say, if I had to rank teams in order of plays, let's just say live plays that I've seen this year, 1 through 32, I don't think there's a lot of question that the Titans would be 32nd. They haven't been on primetime TV. They don't get on the red zone all that much. I'm not exactly putting them on my screen. I think the only game that I had them on the screen for that I watched a lot of the game was Titans-Browns because I'm a sicko. I don't know. Charles, Shuck's not better than Caleb Williams right now. He may be eventually, but he's definitely not. You can't say, I mean, you can say whatever you want, but not right now. He's not there. Yeah, so that's a little much. Ryan says the Raiders are a tough watch. There's no doubt, but the only reason why I've seen the Raiders more than I've seen the Titans is because they were on Monday Night Football a few weeks ago, and I think it was when I was playing poker? Whatever. I was kind of forced to watch them. So I actually watched almost an entire Raiders game. I haven't even come close to watching an entire Titans game. Now I will next week because it's the Saints and the Titans. You know? Charles, thank you so much. And thanks to everyone who has stuck with me thick and thin as we go into Christmas week again. I've got the best Christmas gift I could ever have. I've got y'all. Again, overall, the numbers are not quite as good as when we were with the mothership. However, the reason why they were a little bit better with the mothership is because we had the power of their Facebook page that had 300, 400,000 subscribers. We don't even have kind of that anymore, but yet we're sticking pretty close to where we were before. And it's amazing. I mean, overall, we have more new viewers over the past month and a half since we went independent than we had while we were with the mothership. It was literally the same people all the time, the same group of 15 or 20. And we have grown. We have people outside the box now. I'm glad that I can put us on Facebook. I'm glad that I can put us on X in different places that we weren't before on my Facebook page. You know, Ron Hendrickson, who's been a part of the Dad family for a while. Fantastic show. Thank you, sir. Always a good time on Fridays. Fun Friday. That's what we're trying to do. Ryan says, nice. Keep it up. Thank you so much. But seriously, so I know I say this a lot, and some of you might get tired of hearing it, but I am very thankful, very grateful for y'all to still be here and to be with me and as we go forward. And look, 2026 is going to be a great year for Dattitude. I'm telling you right now, we're going to go out. Show number 500 is coming up in probably, I guess, April-ish. I think it's going to be like April. I think we figured out it would be like, it's either late March or April sometime. And we have started thinking about what we're going to do for show 500. And then after that, you know what? I'm going to treat the hundreds just like I treat. After 500, we're going to treat the hundreds like every other show. Now, when we get to 1,000, we'll probably do something great for episode number 1,000. And I guess that would be in, I don't know, three years from now or so. Maybe 4, I don't know, whenever. We'll still be here. I'm not going to be retired yet. I know this gray hair shows like I'm not ready to retire yet. I'm enjoying this too much. So anyway, thank all of y'all for being here. And that is going to do it for us on this Friday. The last full Friday of the year. That's hard to believe, isn't it? It is the last full Friday of the year. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, live. Again, next week, Monday, Friday. The following week, Monday, taped on Wednesday. And then on January the 2nd, we will have a show, and it will be with the Pick'em crew as we talk about the Saints finale. And we start talking about the college football. I guess that would be the semifinals because the championship games are going to be played on the night before and on New Year's Eve. So that's all coming up for us. I want to thank today's guests, Zach Ewing, Gabe Henderson, Uncle Big Nick Mars, and you. You were our guest. You're more than our guest, as I told you already. You're our family. We hope you can join us next for Mono E Monday as we recap the Saints' final home game against the New York Jets. And we'll also recap, of course, Tulane, Ole Miss. Maybe we'll have an upset. Who knows? A reminder to subscribe to our Dattitude YouTube page. If you have not already done so, tell your friends. Tell your friends about the Dattitude page, the Dattitude podcast. Tell them to come on over. Give us a shout. We will have an instant well, it's gonna be hard to do instant reaction because I'm gonna be at the Dome on Sunday, but I'll figure out how. We're trying to continue our shorts. I'll probably have instant reaction on the Tulane game tomorrow if I get a chance to, although I'm supposed to go out with the fam tomorrow. So we'll see how that works. Anyway, shorts coming up. You can also find us wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, and many more. Everyone have a fantastic, wonderful, just glorious pre-Christmas weekend. It's a little different after this weekend, doesn't it? And then we will all see you on Monday. See you then. Take it easy, my friends.